Hello and welcome back to this new edition of News Today. Without delay, let's explore the headlines first. Supreme Court issues directions for implementing National Commission for Allied and Healthcare Professions Act 2021. NITI Aayog and KPMG publishes a report on impact assessment of Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. Security concerns at the Russian-controlled Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. AUKUS members signed an agreement for cooperation related to naval nuclear propulsion. International Labour Organization published its report Global Employment Trends for Youth 2024. Tungabhadra Dam's crest gate collapses. Ahead, let's talk on the implementation of the National Commission for Allied and Healthcare Professions or NCAHP Act 2021. The Supreme Court has issued important directions for this act, which aims to bring significant reforms to the healthcare sector. Let's begin by discussing the background. The Supreme Court has noted that although the NCAHP Act has been in effect for 3-4 years, many of its provisions have not been implemented. Out of 28 states and union territories in India, only 14 have set up state councils, and even these councils are not functioning properly. This delay in implementation raises concern about the effectiveness of the Act and its impact on the healthcare system. Now let's talk about the Supreme Court's recent directions on this matter. The court has instructed both the union and the states to take necessary steps to implement the NCAHP Act within 2 months. Additionally, the Health Ministry has been directed to convene an online meeting within 2 weeks to lay down a roadmap for implementing the Act. The infrastructure must be set up by all states and the provisions of the Act must be made functional. Furthermore, the court has directed all the states and union territories to submit a compliance report by the next hearing. Moving on to the issues arising from the non-implementation of the Act, there is no uniformity in the qualifications prescribed for allied and healthcare professional courses by private organizations. This lack of regulation seriously jeopardizes patient care as unregulated institutions providing courses in allied and healthcare aspects of medical treatment are mushrooming. Allied health professionals who are associates and technologists trained to support the diagnosis and treatment of diseases are crucial to the healthcare system. Therefore, proper regulation and standardization are essential. Now let's take a closer look at the key provisions of the NCAHP Act 2021. The Act specifies certain categories of allied and healthcare professions as recognized categories. It establishes the National Commission for Allied and Healthcare Professions, which is responsible for framing policies for regulated education and practice. The Commission will create an online central register of all registered professionals and provide for a uniform entrance and exit examination. Moreover, professional councils will be constituted by the Commission for every recognized category of allied and healthcare professions. Lastly, the Act also mandates the establishment of state allied and healthcare councils. These councils will enforce professional conduct and a code of ethics as well as provide a permission for establishing institutions. By ensuring proper regulation and standardization, the NCAHP Act aims to enhance the quality of healthcare services and improve patient care across the country.
In our next news, in a recent development, NITI Aayog in collaboration with KPMG has published an insightful report assessing the impact of the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, a flagship initiative under the Ministry of Finance aimed at supporting micro, small and medium enterprises. Launched in 2015, the scheme has significantly contributed to the financial inclusion and growth of small businesses across the country. Before discussing the key highlights, let's learn some basics about PM Mudra Yojana. It is a central sector scheme with a purpose to create an inclusive, sustainable, and value-based entrepreneurial culture. It has 3 loan categories: Shishu for loans up to Rs 50,000, Kishore for loans above 50,000 and up to Rs 5 lakhs, and Tarun for loans above 5 lakhs and up to 20 lakhs. The credit guarantee is given to eligible micro units through the Credit Guarantee Fund for Micro Units. Coming back to the news, the report highlights the remarkable outreach of this scheme, which has provided credit support to 35 crore micro and small entrepreneur accounts since its inception. A noteworthy aspect is the empowerment of women, who hold approximately 71% of the total accounts as of the financial year 2022. Additionally, the sanctioned amounts of new entrepreneurs have seen a steady increase, further encouraging small business ventures. A substantial portion of these loans, about 80%, fall under the Shishu category, indicating a focus on micro enterprises with loans amounts up to Rs 50,000. However, the report also uncovers regional variations, particularly in the Northeast. where both the number of accounts and the sanctioned amounts are not only the lowest, but have been declining. Despite its success, the scheme faces several challenges. The lack of collateral raises concerns among banks about the risk of non-performing assets, while high refinancing rates and a restrictive ceiling on payouts under the Credit Guarantee Fund for micro units limit the scheme's effectiveness. Moreover, there are institutional shortcomings, including poor credit penetration in weaker sections and remote areas, coupled with the absence of a centralized database for customer information. To address these issues, the report recommends the creation of a portal for real-time upload of beneficiary data, increasing digitization through tools like chatbots, and establishing a recognition mechanism for micro-lending institutions based on their scale and performance. In summary, the report on Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana sheds light on the scheme's pivotal role in driving financial inclusion and entrepreneurship in India.
In our next news, we delve into a pressing issue concerning global security, the situation at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, also known as ZNPP. Recently, a fire broke out at this plant, which has been described by Russia as an act of nuclear terrorism. Let's explore the details and the broader implications of this event. Firstly, it's important to understand the significance of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, located in southeast Ukraine on the eastern bank of the Dnipro River. Zaporizhzhia is the largest nuclear plant in Europe. Currently, it is under Russian control, which adds a layer of complexity to the situation. Now, what exactly is nuclear terrorism? It involves the unauthorized use or threat to use nuclear explosive devices, materials, or facilitates to endanger lives, property, and the environment. This is not just a local issue, but a transnational threat that can manifest in several ways. It includes the detonation of an intact nuclear weapon, the theft or purchase of fissile material to create an improvised nuclear device, the acquisition of a dirty bomb, and the sabotage of nuclear facilities leading to radioactive release. Given these threats, what measures are in place globally to ensure nuclear security? There are several international regulations and conventions aimed at combating nuclear terrorism. The UN Global Counter-Terrorism Strategy urges member states to combat the smuggling of radiological and nuclear materials. The International Convention for the Suppression of Acts of Nuclear Terrorism, or ICSANT, criminalizes the unlawful possession of radioactive material. Additionally, the International Atomic Energy Agency has established 7 pillars for nuclear safety and security during conflicts. There's also the Convention on the Physical Protection of Nuclear Material, which creates legal obligations for parties involved. Now you might ask, how does India address these challenges? India has a robust framework for nuclear safety. The Atomic Energy Act of 1962 and the Weapons of Mass Destruction Act of 2005 form the backbone of its governance framework. Institutions like the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board focus on the security of civilian facilities. India's nuclear security practices include the National Design Basis Threat Document and the involvement of Central Industrial Security Force. Technologically, India employs a closed fuel cycle with a reprocess to reuse strategy for plutonium. Moreover, India is a party to all 13 anti-terrorism conventions, including CPPNM and ICSANT, highlighting its commitment to international cooperation. In conclusion, the situation at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant underscores the critical need for global vigilance and cooperation in nuclear security.
In a significant development, members of the AUKUS alliance, Australia, the United Kingdom, and the US have signed an agreement that will pave the way for enhanced cooperation on naval nuclear propulsion. This agreement is a crucial step forward in enabling the transfer of submarine-specific material and equipment to support Australia's future fleet of nuclear-powered submarines, marking a major milestone in the AUKUS partnership. The agreement here will facilitate the transfer of Virginia-class nuclear submarines from the US to Australia, as well as the transfer of vital equipment from the UK for use in the SSN AUKUS submarines. Importantly, the agreement explicitly rules out the enrichment of uranium or the reprocessing of spent nuclear fuel within Australia, ensuring that the AUKUS members adhere to their international non-proliferation obligations. Additionally, Australia will bear the responsibility for managing the nuclear waste generated by its submarines, underscoring the country's commitment to safe and secure nuclear practices. AUKUS, established in 2021, is a trilateral security partnership aimed at strengthening the defense and security interests of Australia, the US, and the UK. The partnership is structured around 2 key pillars: The first pillar focuses on supporting Australia in acquiring its first conventionally armed nuclear-powered submarine fleet. The second pillar emphasizes cooperation in 8 advanced military capability areas, including artificial intelligence, quantum technologies, and electronic warfare. The impact of AUKUS on the Indo-Pacific region is expected to be profound. The alliance seeks to counterbalance Chinese influence and redefine the security architecture of the region with increased involvement from Western powers. For India, AUKUS could serve as a strategic tool to reinforce its concept of strategic autonomy in the Indo-Pacific and complement its role within the Quad grouping. However, the exchange of nuclear materials and knowledge also raises concerns about nuclear proliferation and its broader strategic implications. In our next news, the International Labour Organization has released its much-anticipated report, Global Employment Trends for Youth 2024, marking the 20th anniversary of this significant publication. The report provides an in-depth analysis of the current state of youth employment, highlighting key achievements, ongoing challenges, and the outlook for young people in the global labour market. A major highlight from the report is the post-COVID recovery in youth employment. The global youth unemployment rate has fallen to 13% in 2023, the lowest level in 15 years, with 64.9 million unemployed youth, marking the smallest number since the year 2000. Despite these positive trends, the report also reveals that 20.4% of youth globally are still not in employment, education, or training known as NEET status. Alarmingly, 2/3 of these young NEETs are women, pointing to broader issues of gender inequality in the labour market. The report also underscores persistent global challenges. Inequalities of opportunity remain stark, with 4 out of 5 young adults in high-income countries holding regular paid jobs compared to just 1 in 5 in low-income countries. Regional disparities are also a concern, with Africa expected to see growth in its youth labour force by 2050, while other regions face contraction. Notably, 1 in 3 youth in Arab states and North Africa remain unemployed. Additionally, the well-being of young people is a growing concern, with many expressing stress over job security, economic conditions, and limited social mobility. Moreover, there is a significant educational mismatch, as 2 in 3 young adult workers in developing economies hold qualifications that do not align with their job roles. In response to these challenges, the ILO report recommends several key actions. These include enhancing education and training to facilitate smoother school-to-work transitions, addressing skill mismatches, and implementing targeted labour market policies to support disadvantaged youth. The report also calls for the promotion of entrepreneurship and self-employment alongside a stronger policy focus on job creation through gender-responsive macroeconomic and sectoral strategies. Lastly, the ILO emphasizes the importance of including youth in policy-making processes, improving international cooperation, and strengthening public-private partnership.
Ahead of the news, we delve into a critical issue concerning the Tungabhadra Dam's recent Chris Gate collapse, a development that has heightened worries about flood risks and dam safety in Karnataka. Let's start with the Tungabhadra Dam, also known as Pampa Dam. Completed in 1958, this multi-purpose dam is constructed across Tungabhadra River in Hospet, located in Karnataka's Bellary district. M. Besvesaraya, a renowned engineer, chaired the board of engineers responsible for its construction. Now moving on to the Tungabhadra River itself, it gets its name from 2 streams, Tung and Bhadra, originating in Western Ghats. These streams converge near Shimoga to form the Tungabhadra, which is a significant tributary of the Krishna River. Shifting our focus to broader concerns about dam safety in India, it's essential to note that 80% of large dams in the country are over 25 years old, raising concerns about their aging infrastructure. Additionally, seismic vulnerability is a significant concern. For instance, the earthquake in Bhuj, Gujarat in 2001 led to liquefaction in the foundation of Chang Dam. Excessive rain and floods pose another risk, as seen in the case of Chungthang Dam in Sikkim, which was washed away during flash floods in October 2023. Other issues include overtopping failures, sedimentation, and more. So what steps are being taken to address these concerns? The Dam Safety Act of 2021 is a key legislative measure. Additionally, the Dam Rehabilitation and Improvement Project is actively working on enhancing dam safety. To aid in these efforts, a web-based tool called Dam Health and Rehabilitation Monitoring Application is in use, providing essential monitoring capabilities. Lastly, let's take a look at the overall pictures of dam in India. According to the National Register of Large Dams 2023, there are 6,138 completed and operational specified dams in the country. Among them, 234 are large dams that have been standing for more than a century. The collapse of a dam, known as dam failure, involves the breakdown of part of a dam or its foundation, resulting in its inability to retain water. Notable examples of dam failures include the Machu Dam failure in Gujarat in 1979 and the Tivre Dam failure in Maharashtra 2019. In conclusion, while dams like the Tungabhadra are crucial for India's development, they also pose significant safety challenges. It is imperative that we continue to monitor, assess, and improve these safety measures surrounding these structures.
In today's Place in News, we will discuss Zambia with its capital Lusaka. Zambia is set to reopen its closed border with Democratic Republic of Congo. It is a landlocked country in South-Central Africa. Its bordering countries are Democratic Republic of Congo and Tanzania to the north, Malawi and Mozambique to its east, Zimbabwe and Botswana to the south, and Namibia and Angola to the west. It is also a member of the Commonwealth. In terms of its geographical features, it has a subtropical climate with 3 seasons: a hot and dry season, a wet rainy season, and a cool dry season. It's a major producer of cobalt and copper. The important rivers are Kafue, Luangwa, and Zambezi, which creates the Victoria Fall. The country is home to Lake Bangweulu, Kariba, Maweru, and Tanganyika.
As we wrap up today's main news, let's take a moment for some quick updates. Recently, Amrit Gyan Kosh portal and Faculty Development portal were launched under Mission Karma Yogi. National Program for Civil Services Capacity Building or Mission Karma Yogi was launched in 2020 to create a competent civil service rooted in Indian ethos. Geneva Conventions of 1949, the cornerstone of international humanitarian law, completed 75 years of their adoption. 4 Geneva Conventions and their additional protocols contain most important rules limiting the barbarity of war. India has ratified all 4 Geneva Conventions 1949. Reserve Bank of India on Monday tightened norms related to public deposit acceptance by housing finance companies. Ceiling for the quantum of public deposits has been reduced from 3 times to 1.5 times of housing finance companies' net owned funds. The Ministry of Education released the 9th edition of National Institutional Ranking Framework 2024. NIRF was launched in 2015. It outlines a methodology to rank educational institutions across the country. IIT Madras is the best education institution in the country for the 6th time since 2019, followed by IISc Bangalore. Researchers have discovered anti-diabetic medicinal herb Gurmar on Gaya's Brahmayoni Hill. Gurmar is a slow-growing perennial woody climber found in central and southern India and tropical Africa. Earlier, the first diabetes drug, metformin, was also derived from a medicinal plant, Galega. Researchers developed a transparent conducting interface between 2 insulating materials using spintronics. This breakthrough can significantly speed up data transfer between different parts of electronic devices and increase the amount of data that can be stored in quantum devices. Recently, some experts have raised concern about technological doping. Technology doping is the practice of gaining a competitive advantage using sports equipment. The World Anti-Doping Agency considers prohibiting technologies if they are performance-enhancing or being against the spirit of the sport. Researchers claim that present limits of daily exposure of silica dust can pose serious risks of developing silicosis. Silicosis is a long-term lung disease caused by prolonged inhaling of crystalline silica dust. It causes hardening of lungs, shortness of breath, and can be fatal. Before we conclude today's bulletin, let's test your knowledge in our segment Test Your Learning. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this edition of News Today. For the quiz solutions and to download the PDF version of News Today, please visit the links provided in the description below.